We're getting on into game number 1 here of our final series. And in the upper right, in the red, he is for the Shopify Rebellion. Put your hands together for Byun.
And our Italian master class StarCraft 2 player here, the Blue Zerg. Bottom left side, Clash Reynor. Happy as always. He's even doing a little dance routine when the webcam came on.
Yeah, when we got his
Did you see that? Yeah.
Yeah, when we got his webcam turned on, he was making hearts to the camera. It's like, oh, Reynor.
Yeah, and he started waving his arms a little bit, like yo, yo. I don't know, something like that. I imagined him saying yo, yo, but
Reynor, too gosh darn likable.
Too likable indeed. Impossible to be against this guy. It's like the enthusiasm of a dog in a way, you know. I don't want to say don't want to compare him too much to a dog, but just overall his enthusiasm, right? It's intoxicating in a way. You see him, and then you yourself just immediately feel a little bit perked up as well because of that just joyous kind of radiant personality that he has.
Yeah. Also, folks, I'm sorry we found out last minute that Byun is not going to be able to use the webcam for this series, so unfortunately we cannot put animatronic eyes on Byun's picture. So he will not blink today. Man, I'm kind of sad because it's something I absolutely would have done if I had the prep for it. But you know, last second he can only do so much here. Now, Byun in this game, he's going for a Reaper expand. Nothing too crazy. It's game 1 of a series. Byun has shown some tremendous ability to do some weird stuff. As that is a very late drone looking for a proxy. Normally we see, you know, if you're really worried about a proxy barracks, like Reynor justifiably is. I mean, 3 racks killed Cyril, and Reynor was watching that. I do know that, saying, you know, calling it a disaster. And again, the drone just feels like that was a little bit late on that scout. But anyways, it's going to be fine as we have Reaper Marine into Reactor. The Overlord of Reynor is going to scout everything that's happening. He's like, okay, the build is normal. Nothing too crazy. Kind of about what I'm expecting. So we're going to have to see what Reynor's response is. Does he go Ling Bane? Does he really open up the taps on that Roach production again? I mean, if it was going to be anything, it would be like the 330 Roach Warren at this point. But we're just going to have to see what the Italian goes for.
Well, looks pretty standard on the Terran side so far. I'm imagining it will be the Hellion and Banshee combination this time around, and well, if it's not, I'm fine with that as well, Byun. But it's looking very much like it, right?
Yeah, I mean, Byun's early game often shares a lot of stylistic similarities to Clem. And Clem, something that Clem has been doing a little bit more than other Terrans at the moment is, yeah, he'll go Tech Lab and he'll go Hellions, sure, but he'll get a Raven out of that. And granted, I don't think that's what we're going to see this game, but it is something we do occasionally see is, you know, you get the Raven, you get 8 Hellions, and it just means that there is no creep spread on the map for the Zerg player for quite a while. They just do not have the ability to keep it up past the detection, but it's going to be Banshees. There we go. We have Cloak underway. It's going to be 2 Banshees into the main as the Hellions provide pressure on the third. All that fun stuff. And it'll be, of course, there's a good reason for this, especially if you're afraid that your opponent is going to go for Roaches. Banshees are a whole lot better defensively than a couple auto turrets will ever be. Even if auto turrets are pretty strong. Not against, say, 15 Roaches. As the Hellions, now they're going to dive on in. They say, hey, Reynor, you did not build enough links here. Let me punish you for that. Line the drones up. 2 workers go down. It's going to be 3. Is he going to get the proper lineup here? There we go. Workers are starting to go down. Reynor's got to be very careful. 7 workers go down. 8. And I think that's going to be it. Yes, 8 workers will be the iron price. Reynor getting a little bit too greedy with his Ling production, only having 6. And very much punished for that one. Very much punished indeed.
So many queens available though, but Byun finding a way past all of those and just getting himself right on top of those drones. The Spore Crawlers, they are going to be close with completing here. Should be just about when that Banshee comes in. Hopefully for all of his bases.
And, you know, on top of that, we did not see Byun sacrifice every single Hellion. Sometimes you do that and you kind of accept the loss of your 4 Hellions. You're like, I hope I'm going to have enough to make it worthwhile. He got one out. And yeah, he lost the Reaper, but That means that his kind of critical mass of creep removal Hellions are going to be it's a little easier to get to. He has to rebuild less and still be happy, as the Banshee's going to find a nice spot here where it can just start shelling away at these queens. For what it's worth, Lair is very far. Actually, it's not even been started yet, so it's just all about this detection that Reynor has in his mineral lines, but the Banshee is more than happy to just kind of sit there on the high ground, get random drones, get random workers, just wait. Of course, the Queen's just waiting for the energy to drop on this Banshee so it does go down. But oh, there's going to be a free spore. Oh, there we go.
Should be fishing there, yeah. I think you forgot that there was the Spore Crawler just barely granting stealth detection. I bet you would be running out of energy anyway, so... Katsu creep tumors. The creep denial has been insane here for Byun, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, it really has. That and the Queen going down as well. Byun just being so active on the map. And it's kind of funny. We talked about this after game 1 of the Serral series, but this is the way I wanted to see him play against Serral. You know, just extremely active on the map, just making it hard for Serral to really do anything that he's happy with, be comfortable at all. And already, the pressure that he's put on Reynor, the damage that he's put on Reynor means that Reynor... It can only afford +1 armor to start. He's going to have to go for the, quick +1 armor, or quote-unquote quick, but delayed +1 melee just to try to make sure that he can come back into it. He's not mining a lot of gas right now either. Again, just trying to find his way back into that mineral income that allows him to do everything else. So now Byun has a fantastic time where he's going to have both of his upgrades. He's going to have combat shields. He's going to have stim. He's going to be able to really leverage this early game pressure into a mid-game push that is going to be a little bit scary for Reynor to deal with, especially as Reynor opts to expand towards Byun. Now, there is a reason that you kind of take that pocket base. It's fairly easy to get creep around it. You can make things happen, but on the flip side, you are expanding towards the Terran player just a little bit. And there's some really scary kind of low ground, high ground ideas that the Terran can attempt to leverage as they push on in. As now, yeah, the Bio's going to stem on in here. Looks like the 4th base will complete. So if it dies, it's going to die, not just get canceled.
Little bit of pressure here. The Queen's trying to buy as much time as possible. Those Hellions coming in at a good time as well. Need to get on the right angle for those Lings. Don't quite get the lineup. But there's still a lot of DPS with another stim just coming through. The Queens are just barely enough. No energy left, but they still survive. And so does the hatchery. And so do the drones. And only now, +1/+1 finishing up. That could have been quite useful in that situation there.
Yeah, a little bit of an anti-timing there from Byun, but you know what? He made it work. He traded out for the entire army of Reynor. Now he's got a 20 army supply lead. He's got his 2-2 underway. Eventually, he does have his armory done, so we're going to have to see that happen. But the push starting in earnest. Reynor, his +1 attack is kind of a far ways out. Baneling speed done pretty far out as well here, as we do have the Banelings look to roll on in. The Widow Mines are going to be fairly decent. The splits of Byun are going to be fantastic indeed, as now Byun's found his way on into this base. But with the Spore and with the Queens, he's not quite able to break it down now, as nice target fire down on the Banelings. But a medevac goes down. The same thing. Byun overstaying his welcome by like half a second.
Just didn't manage to target the Banelings there either. Like, they just waddled in and well, gets a few of his boys out, but let's see. More pressure still ramping up. Reynor's still getting away as well with making a couple of drones here and there. That is important to still keep on top of your own drone production with this and get your next tech, get your other expansions up. Reynor's been doing pretty good with this. Baneling speed done now. Yeah, I mean, more opportunities to hold.
We got a flank coming on in from Reynor, but yeah, Byun's just going to be able to back up, return home. I kind of wish he'd started his 2-2. He would have had a even more powerful timing than he had. And now it looks like Byun will be forced back.
All right. Could be just temporary, of course. Reynor most likely not going to try to counterattack in this situation. Will be quite rough for him with just a Ling Bane when the Terran is already back at home. So yeah, transitioning into the drops. Medevac's going to the left. We could have a couple of multi-pronged attacks here. Right, that is something that Byun in particular loves to do as well. Just be on two sides of the Zerg and pull away wherever you cannot win the fight. Oh, that was so close. How did that Baneling still blow up?
Maybe... I think what happened was it exploded. It triggered proximity. And then, as the Marine was getting lifted into the medevac, sometimes you see interesting interactions like that. Is now We do have the army moving on forward. The Widowmine actually going to be a traitor Widowmine more than everything else, but the second one, it gets a whole lot more. Now, the Hydras still remain. Of course, that's the goal. You get your Hydras to keep living and do consistent DPS, gain value over time. Whereas, of course, Ling's Banes, they exist to die here. The Hydra going to force it back. The Medevac will stay alive as army pushing on the right-hand side. Byun, despite the damage he got done early, he really can just not find any sort of significant foothold in this game. He can play on the edge of creep, sure, and the creep is not as developed as it was, say, against Cyril on 2,000 Atmospheres, but even still, he hasn't really been able to find a foothold. But here we are, his army all together in earnest now. Widowmine's burrowing up, splitting up, trying to make sure that he can have everything that he wants, everything that he needs. Ling's looking for the Widowmine shots, but only some of them do go off. Now, Byun looking to push on in with this 2-upgrade lead, but it's still a decent ways that he's got to go to push on into that 4th base.
Yeah, the Reynor now on both flanks seemingly to be pretty secure. Byun's yet to have a major strike against, well, any economic targets. Oh, the Widowmine's bit of friendly fire there as well. Byun's momentum seems to be slowing down here. Yeah, Reynor's picking up a bit of steam, perhaps.
Yeah, he really has not been able to leverage this damage early. He has not really put too much pressure on his opponent, really on Reynor's bases at all. I mean, he's been in the vicinity, but it hasn't been any sort of realized pressure. He's not found any drone damage, not really after the first 8 he got. And I mean, Reynor at this point, he has this really powerful army. He has a bunch of Hydras. He has this infestation pit on the way. It's not going to be the quickest dive, of course, and that's going to be a free Hydra. But still, he's just not finding the value. As Reynor's on 5 bases, Byun, at least he is taking his 4th on, or he does have his 4th base up. He's got a 5th base underway. But this game's going late, and as we saw Byun against Cyril, I mean, seems like his late game is maybe not quite as powerful as his mid game.
Yeah, perhaps. To be fair, let's see. I mean, beyond the side of the map has gone untouched as well. Grabbing up 3/3 upgrades right now. Ghost Academy already on the way. He's got a good amount of bases. And it's not like he, well, taking a little bit of a Baneling hit there, but he hasn't been taking major Baneling hits. The units lost tab here would definitely be interesting to view. And it's beyond right now, definitely still, you know, seemingly to still scraping away at those units.
Yeah, I mean, the last we saw it, Byun was only out trading the Zerg by about 1,000 resources, which again was surprising. Now Byun is looking to push on in, and his 3/3 is going to be done rather soon. And of course, the Hive is not yet done yet, so Reynor will be at an upgrade disadvantage, but that is kind of one of the benefits. Oh, that's a massive Widowmine shot there. Maybe that's something that Byun can use to push on in, as he will get the 4th base as well. Hydras in the Concave cannot fight without Lings and Banes to buffer. And Byun will finally find some of that damage that he's been looking for. Finally able to really get that trade with the Widowmine, with the Banelings not really there, so he's going to get the 4th base, and now he's going to start pushing on into this really terrifying choked position that it's hard for Reynor to beat. As now Reynor down 40 supply below Byun here, trying to make the hold happen. Surround coming on in from every side. Widowmine's not doing a whole lot for Byun here, and he will be forced back. He will be forced out. But already the base is dead. 9 workers have died. Reynor back down to that Widowmine.
Reynor, I mean, he seems very good with just kind of spotting whenever there's a Widowmine on there and moving back just a small unit, and that saves him so many Banelings and Zerglings every time he manages to pull that off. And he's pulled it off a couple of times now already, so...
Yeah. Very much true. But now we got Lurkers hitting the field. Hive is done, although we don't have Lurker upgrades just yet. Reynor kind of lacking the bank for that, as he is now only on 4 bases. His economy is not all that great. And what was once a plus 1,000 resources lost differential, it's now about 10,000. It's 8,000 resources lost there, as Byun has just been trading so incredibly well. But the Lurkers are here, and Byun is looking to stim on in, looking to try to break things. There is no buffer for these Lurkers, and it looks like Byun is going to not be able to break on in despite that. Attacking into a choke of Lurkers is a terrifying measure, even when you do have the scan on top of them. As now Reynor looking for the run by as well, trying to knock down the economy of Byun here. That's a lot of Banelings trying to come crashing on in. Byun, his pull is a little bit late. And 14, 18, 20 workers, 17 workers will go down. Reynor losing his 5th base as well. This game is getting all over the place.
Yeah, just people slugging each other in the face over and over again. As Reynor now starting to get aggressive with these lurkers also, not just a bailing run by anymore. Oh, that was a glorious Widowmine. Reynor now has to move back. Can he get those lurkers out back to safety? Dropping one of them in order to buy some time. This could be a massive pickup right now for Byun. Look at that. 5 lurkers just like that. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's and of course Reynor didn't have the money he needed to really increase the range of the lurkers to allow them to really become useful, because right now, you know, as they burrow slow, as they do not have seismic spines, it's kind of hard for Reynor to get those extra 1 or 2 spines off that really make things a problem for Byun. On top of that, Byun is actually well prepared to move into late game at this point. He has ghosts. He's not really doing a tank style right now. He's just got kind of ghost bio, which of course allows him to be a little bit more maneuverable on the map. And as long as he gets the sniped off, he's going to be very happy indeed. As the Ling run by trying to put pressure onto this third base, which by the way, there are only 5 mineral patches. Soon it's going to be down to 4. It's not nearly as important to shut down this base as it is to, you know, take down the 4th, take down the 5th. But when you cannot really afford mass banes to bust down a planetary, and you don't have the lurker count you need to do the same, you're gonna look for damage wherever you can. So that's a very low medevac going on that drop.
Yeah, he's on a mission, that's for sure. Lurkers do have their range now, so a little bit more difficult for Byun to clear up these areas. Has to still be careful. If you stim once, you're somewhat okay to step on there, but 2 or 3 times if you have to stim and you didn't manage to heal up in the meanwhile, your army dies very quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And that creep spread we were saying was, you know, decent but not incredible. It's now really in a bad spot here. There's not a lot of creep defending the natural in the 3rd. Lurkers are going to attempt to burrow on this army, but Byun, he has the split just rotating around to the right side, killing off all the Hydra. Say, I'll deal with the lurkers later. That's fine. Meanwhile, this run by that Reynor attempted to make happen earlier, it's been found out as well. Reynor now down 50 supply, down 50 army supply here as he tries to find some way to come back into this game. He's going to lose his potential 5th. Actually, Byun says, no, I'm just going to kill the lurkers, and I'm going to kill the base. No, I can't do that. I'm going to get the base. That's fine. Reynor moving in his chair, shrugging, looking not all that happy with things as he's going to lose another base. Now, no, the transfuse is going to be able to keep it alive as Byun just, I'm going to kill the army first.
He'll get it, right? No, he lets it live. What? Crazy. He's going to come back. There's no way he lets that live. Right? Oh my god, he does.
Yeah, that is.
I would have leapt everything up into the medevacs and just been like, no, that has to die now. Go get it. But yeah, I mean, Byun, he's in such a good spot. I mean, right now, just going around the map, he's been on a supply lead for such a long time. There, down go more lurkers. The last bastion of defense, it just can't be everywhere at once. Even with those quick, you know, burrow and unburrow upgrades. And Byun just has too much of an advantage right now for Reynor to recuperate. A glorious effort, but GG is called. Byun. And that mid game, as you were, you know, praising before and hoping we would get to see that, Byun really accelerating well in that time frame indeed. Like, because of that weird kind of awkward situation you can sometimes find yourself in with the Zerg, or as the Zerg versus Widowmine, Marine, Marauder, Medevac kind of army compositions where you're just stuck. It feels like you're stuck on the Zergling Baneling, which is a good reason why I like seeing the Roaches as well. It just feels a little bit safer in a way against that in particular, but. Yeah, it's not like you can just transition from Lingbane freely to Roaches as soon as you're like, oh, he's got a few Widowmines. Let's hop on over to something entirely different, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, remember, this is a smaller map than Hardwire, so you know, we're gonna have to see whether that changes things. I mean, you talk about a little bit about being nice to see that. Well, saw more mines. Things like that. Does Byun go for? Well, he's not actually. It's going to be wide open, so we probably should see a pretty similar setup in this game. It's a better question though. What does Reynor do? As now he's down 1-0 in this series. Does he go for that Roach idea that he went for on Hardwire that worked out for him? And does he do something a little bit different? What do you think, Kozan?
I mean, usually when you're in a tense situation in a tournament, I think people are gonna just kind of revert back to their whatever it is their natural state is, right? In a sense, I feel like you're not gonna try as much anymore. This is where you're just gonna do your own thing, the thing that you like the most, the thing that you feel most comfortable with. You know, you get to see the true nature of the beast rather than just the cold, calculating head. It's like, all right, oh dear, we're in trouble now. Let's try to dig ourselves out. So I think there's a good chance that we still get quite heavy Ling army composition out of Reynor, because that, you know, that's just who he is. He likes to be aggressive. He likes to be everywhere on the map, and he loves the counterattacks and all that whole shebang and the idea of the Zerg, right?
Yeah, that is that is very true. His we used to have another player who was known for his Ling control. We don't talk about him anymore, but Reynor is certainly his successor. His ability to get Lings in anywhere, everywhere, find value is an impressive one, to say the least. And right now, we don't see really any idea that that Reynor's doing anything out of the norm. No 330 Roach War, nothing like that. As Byun, for his part, he's got Hellions on the way. He's got Banshees on the way here. We're gonna have to see whether the value that he found in game number 1 there, diving 4 Hellions into a mineral line, is going to force Reynor to be a little bit more respectful and go for those, 4-minute Lings that you would expect, that we normally see to try to keep you safe from the Hellion dives. Or whether he's going to say, look, I don't think you're going to do it again, as 4 more Lings are on the way. That feels a little bit late. But the creep is actually doing a really good job of warding these Hellions off. They can't get too close to the natural ramp before dive again.
Okay, there we go. The 3rd CC after the Hellion Banshee. Alright. Alright, still completely open this game, which is always a good thing to see, right? This is what we like out of our TVZs. Hellions, so far, have been zoned properly by those queens. I don't think we have that many more Zerglings from
there we
Reynor.
go.
I could be wrong.
You love to see the... we haven't seen too many more Lings get made after that first couple, you're right, but you'll love to see it. The Reaper just kind of sitting on top of the creep tumor, getting a little bit of extra value. Of course, you regen, it's fine. Just small little micro tricks, but makes me a little bit happy inside. As the Banshee is going to try to dive in, will be unsuccessful. Reaper Queens are already there. The big difference, of course, in this game is just Reynor is not taking the damage that he took in game number 1. Not at all.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those Hellions being a lot more careful as well, right? They never went for the charge straight through. Makes sense to me also, right? You don't really anticipate that happening twice in a best of 3 series. If you're playing as the Terran here, you're gonna, assume that Reynor is gonna only allow that to happen once.
Yeah, pretty much.
Probably is a correct assumption, right?
Yeah, and Reynor's absolutely one of those players that's really, really good at, dropping the Evo chamber as well to just wall off anything, make sure that you don't get too much, that you're not able to get too much into things. But look at we don't have a 3rd command center on the way, correct? We're going to full. No, never mind. We have a 3rd. Okay, there we go. I was like, hey, did we go to 5 racks before 3rd CC? That seems that's gonna be rather aggressive. But no, Byun does have his 3rd base underway now. 1-1 as well. It's going to be a little bit quicker than the 1-1 of Reynor, as has really been every game in this series. That's fine. 4th base getting taken for Reynor, as he has come under pretty much no threat in this game. Yeah, the Hellions have been moving. The Banshees have been trying to find value. But as you said, Byun, he's a lot more respectful of the Queen positioning in this game. Because realistically, Reynor's not going to let it happen more than once. The Banshee will go down, but not before... Yep, just will go down. Will not get the Queen in exchange.
Yeah. Bit of a shame letting one of them go down. It's always nice to have that double... The pairing of the two, just a lot more lethal capabilities there. One-shotting the creep tumors, one-shotting the drones. But it's still around, still a potential threat. You could just park that, right? The easiest thing to do with one of those Banshees is just like kind of park it on a potential expansion and deny that expansion, like a borrowed Ling in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. But now we gotta push. We gotta push. It's actually really scary coming on in here, because those are line of sight blockers. Where the right around that mineral line is, we do have now Lings are gonna find their way on in. 7-8 workers will go down. We'll force the 3rd base to lift. And now, well, Byun, he's got to find some commensurate damage. He's got to find his way on in here and actually punish the space, do more than just maybe get good trades. Getting the 4th base is really kind of the minimum at this point. He's losing that economy for so long, but it looks like Reynor is going to give that base up regardless. He's like, I don't have enough Banes. Bane speed is not done. I don't have my upgrades. It's fine. I'll expand to the other side. I won't lose any drones. I'll lose the base. That's going to be okay. That's a scary position to try to defend anyways.
Yeah. That expansion on the other side was already going up even before Byun was attacking in that location. So, I mean, yeah, it's pretty much done right now. You know, that's really good for Reynor. Byun might feel like he did some damage, but realistically, did he do that much? Not really. Not yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's that Zerg idea. Right, where you go is we do have Banelings crashing on in. This push will get forced back here. Although, I mean, with the tanks here, I love the Hellions surrounding the tanks. That means the Lings are really going to struggle to get on top of it. But even still, everything that's still here is dead. It's the Zerg idea of, you go and you expand in 2 different places at once because you kind of expect to lose one of them, but as long as you keep the other one up, you're going to be very fine. You're still going to have that 4th. Not nearly as disastrous as trying to take one base, losing that one, and suddenly you're a full build time. You're full multiple minutes away from that 4th base fully up and mining that you're looking for. So Reynor, now that he has cleaned up the position on the left-hand side, he's going to be able to go take that 5th base take what's now his 5th base up. And Byun's got to find another way to find value because it is a lot longer of a rush distance on into the position that Reynor has taken as his 4th compared to the one that, well, was just killed off here. That being said, the Banshees finding value as the dying shots kill the 6th drone.
That's always good to see, right? Coming back. And it does fall in that moment, but you know, what else can you really want from it at that point in time? 6 drones, pretty great.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm excited. Kozan, this feels like the most even game. No damage was done early. This is like feels like it's the most even game that we've had really in the 2 series between these players thus far, and it's fantastic. Looks like Reynor, maybe he's getting we'll see. As we're gonna wait for that. We have we got to pause right now. We're gonna wait to see whether this is Reynor getting another delivery or what. Is he getting a gaming table this time so he no longer has to play on a pile of books? We're back in the game now. We got the countdown. Reynor said he was ready. We're all good. As Byun pushing on in to that right-hand side once again. And yeah, Reynor has been focusing a lot of his creep spread on the left. So the creep defending this 5th base, maybe not, or I guess this is 4th base. Maybe not quite as developed as it is through the middle of the map. And that's something that Byun may look to take advantage of here. And, he will have an upgrade timing coming up in about 30 seconds. That he may make use of. I mean, remember, his 2-2 versus 1-1 timing was what allowed him to break a base of Reynor in that last game. Now, granted, he does not have nearly the amount of early game damage as he did in game 1, but still, that's what we look at those brief moments where suddenly the Terran can start to trade a little bit better, as that's a lot of creep that he's just removed.
I think, and also a big difference is that we don't have Widow Mines, it's just siege tanks. And siege tanks, it's just more difficult to get that aggressive position with and that line to fall back onto. It's a bit more punishing as well as you're, retreating and letting some of the artillery pieces go down while you're retreating. It's just more costly overall than it would be with the Widow Mines. So, got to be a bit more careful about that. This is an interesting attack. Has to almost loses because of the Banelings, but catches 1 or 2 queens.
Oh, the burrowed Banelings as well, right on the line of sight blocker. That's not a spot that Byun is ever really likely to see.
Oh, wow.
That's not going to get much. It's like 3 Marines, but still more value than it would have gotten otherwise. So it's fine. Is now Reynor's upgrades do complete. He did a good job of staying on creep, all that fun stuff. And look at this, Kozan. When was the last time you saw ultras in a TVZ?
Well, professionally or just when I was playing myself?
Professionally.
Because all the time. Oh, right, yeah. Professionally, I don't know. They're still getting played, right? It's rough because the Ghost and the Liberator are such a strong answer to them. But, I mean, the potential that they have against the Marine Marauder kind of thing, it's still very strong units. I'd say, oh my god, big. Reynor! What a genius.
Yeah.
Oh, what an army general, that guy.
You know, and of course the other downside for Byun, outside of, you know, losing a lot of stuff to these Burrowed Banes, you now have to drop scans off creep. And of course scans, you know, sure, they're, you know, they regen, so you're theoretically not losing money, but you're losing time money, or you're losing, you know, what's the word, opportunity cost for about 250 minerals a pop. So that is going to cut down on your economy just a little bit. Now, Byun is, of course, maxed out once again. So is Reynor. We do have Ultras trying to find their way on in. Kindness plating done right before the fight, but it's going to finish now. And now these are effectively 2-4 Ultras versus 2-2 Marines. For a while, at least, these Ultras are just not going to die. As I love the addition of the Vipers against a Bio player. You drop Parasitic Bombs on the Medivacs. That's great. You drop Blinding Clouds on even the Bio, and it works out pretty well. As a Widowmine will get one Viper. But that's not going to do too much. Here's the Bio looking to move on in. Where that Baneling, the Widowmine, is going to get so much here. And now that means the Ultras, they're going to be chased down. One will go down. It looks like the other one should be able to escape in time. But that Widowmine got like 20 Banes.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe another reason to, you know, have some Ultralisk in there just to try and tank away the Widowmine shots. So far, not going that fantastically here with this composition, though.
Yeah.
Just like it's just a key missing, right? One key extra little unit, or, I don't know, maybe fungals or something like that. This kiting is being quite devastating for the army composition of Reynor.
Okay, this drop will find a couple queens, which should be fine. And now with the addition of ghosts on the field, it means these, means any sort of queens that are brought in are not going to be all that useful. You just EMP the queens. Vipers, same deal. They're going to attempt to invalidate a good portion of Reynor's army, should Reynor, you know, get within that EMP range. That being said, Byun just lost a ton of supply. He was at 180, now he's at 150, just kind of dying to Ultras all over the place. And that means this push is stalling out just a little bit. But again, with Ghosts on the field, 3-3 is done in 10 seconds. We got some snipes on Ultras already. One goes down. Hey, minus 300 there for the Zerg player. As now getting ready to push on in. Ultras looking to make connections as they can. Widowmines not going to get the best connections, so we got to run by on into the third base as well. But the rally of Byun looks like it's going to do enough here, especially with the tanks to be the fight kicking in as well. Reynor saying you could only choose to fight one spot any given time, as the Widowmines are actually going to get a lot of the Banes, but the Banes get a couple of ghosts as well. And now with the kiting back here, well, Byun has to be careful. He can't really just fight straight up against these Ultras. Looks like the Lings will be cleaned up here, but not before getting, well, damage done to the command center. You got to repair that one on up. And of course, with the parasitic bombs, we will lose some medevacs as well. At the end of the day, it's chaos. Reynor takes the supply lead.
Wide pandemonium at the moment. Byun is taking full control, though, of that left side of the map. He's still in an economically pretty fine position here. And each single time he gets one of those Ultralisk, it is devastating. Reynor finally ramping up the aggression a little bit here, once again with those Zerglings. The run-bys have been a little bit lackluster so far, but, you know what, starting to add them in, mix them up a little bit here and there.
Oh, hey.
Now 15 SCVs go down. Very good.
Oh, and the command center is going to burn. You got to get...
Wow.
It's going to be, that's going to be an expensive repair, too. Well, he's got to get it over there. That's the big deal. Now, nice micro on the other side to make sure that you didn't lose too much. The command center needs to be... the SCV should be able to get there in time. Byun, again, he took
there we go.
Yeah, he's good. Byun took
but he's not repairing, is he?
Oh, is he not?
He's not repairing. He's not repairing. It's still going down. It's burning. It's
there we go.
9. Okay, it's repaired.
Oh
my god, it got sub 10 HP.
Oof. That's rather spooky. But we're dropping the right-hand side is going to find this attempted expand from Reynor. Lings are going to respawn, but yeah, okay, yeah. With the Ling response, actually not going to be there quite in time, but the Ultras here, that should be fine. Ghost looking for snipes on the Ultras. They're going to get one shot off, but now the surround coming on in, of course, Byun microing back to where the army cannot see him, so he should be able to get out. We'll be able to escape. Reynor will secure the upper right base. But the one thing we haven't been talking about is for the last while here, Byun has actually been out mining Reynor. He has had one extra base on the... I'm sorry, no, that's not correct. Now we... especially now this base does go down. Reynor now up 2 bases on Byun because apparently I cannot count the number of bases. That's fine. Byun trying to push on in as he is down 50 supply. And yes, Ultras are a very mid-game timing. They do tend to age out, but if you can keep denying the bases of Byun, if you can knock Byun down to 4 when you're going to be on 6, well, that becomes a little bit problematic. That being said, Queens are going to go down in earnest. 4 of them will go down. No more transfuses. That's going to be rather difficult indeed. But really what we're looking at here is there's not a lot of splash for Byun. Yeah, he's building Widow Mines, but they're dying pretty much as soon as they're made. And Reynor splits against these Banelings, or against the Widow Mines, are so gosh darn fantastic. That's really hard for Byun to take a fight.
Yeah. To be fair, for Reynor, it's hard for him to take a fight in the sense that, like, he doesn't have anything to shut down the medevacs. Each and every single medevac out on the map, it seems like, are completely empty on energy because they've been around for ages. They've saved so many units over and over again. And Byun is able to do things like this, right? Just come in, snipe, do a little poking. Oh, you're getting near. All right, I'll just pick up and I'm out of here. My army will be fine. And maybe I'll get 1 or 2 Widow Mines that get reasonable connections, but at any point when Byun wants to, he can just leave. Even if you only have like 3 Corruptors in your army or something like that, right? It can change that dynamic by an extreme amount.
I mean, that being said, that surround from Reynor was really, really good. And he was able to force a lift on the 5th base of Byun, which is only only an orbital now, not a planetary. So 17 SCVs went down as well. And there's an argument to be made that a late game Terran wants to be at 45 odd workers because you have, 4 or 5 command centers of mules and you're just really able to make everything happen. And it works for you. And Byun actually has been a really good example of that in ages past. But in this game, we're not really seeing that, oh, I'm going to go to 45 workers to get 160 army supply so I can just out-trade my opponent, because Reynor is just taking these insanely good fights. Yeah, I mean, if we look at resources lost, still maybe Reynor's still trading worse, but in the context of this game where Reynor is mining a lot more, as long as he's just able to remove the army, it doesn't matter how poorly he trades. And that's been happening every time that Byun tries to get pressure on the 6 o'clock base of Reynor. Byun is just able to surround, or Reynor's just able to surround around the Xel'Naga tower and then just make it very, very difficult for Byun to do what he wants to do.
Yeah, for sure. Because Byun, I mean, he's picking up some units, but he's definitely not picking off bases anymore.
Oh, the bird Widow Mines!
Oh, it strikes! Wow.
And that actually may be it. This army of Byun is now so low and is so small that, we're not seeing him produce ghosts anymore. He cannot afford the gas. He cannot afford the minerals. Barely mining whatsoever. I mean, he's got the base on the bottom left, and that really is one of his core 2 mining bases at this point. He doesn't really have much out of his 3rd either. Lings are going to knock down a couple more SCVs. Byun attempting to rebuild them, but he's only on 35. And it's just, at this point, Reynor is mining somewhere between 500, 750 minerals a minute more. And even at that being said, though, his remaxes are draining his bank, at least in minerals.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of his bases must be getting pretty low right now, right? At least I can see 3 bases that are pretty much empty. And then maybe the other 2 are kind of half. He's going to lose his probably best base right now.
Yeah, you do make a key point, Kozan. I mean, Reynor has taken these bases so much earlier in the game than Byun has. And, I mean, Curious Minds has a relative paucity of bases. There are very few. So it's pretty easy for the Zerg player to get to 25 minutes, mine out the map, and they're like, wait a minute, I don't have money. But Banelings are going to roll on in here. It doesn't even matter. There's so much gas in the map for Reynor right now that everything is dead. The base is going to be broken here once again, and Byun is really not going to be mining at this point.
Yep. That's a very expensive base as well for Byun. Tit for tat. Reynor, though, very much on top of supply right now. And the Banelings coming in again from behind. There we go. GG is called. A salute from Reynor as he ties up the series again. He keeps himself alive.
In the bottom left here, in the red for the Shopify Rebellion, trying to take it all, trying to upset. He is Byun.
His opponent, the other Prodigy Zerg from Europe. The blue-colored Team Clash. Reynor. Tied it up. Needs 1 more. And we'll have his revenge over that other series, of course, that Byun did manage to get on top of. I highly doubt we're going to see a Ling Flood here.
Yeah.
I highly doubt it.
I mean, who knows? Byun has built his barracks on the high ground. I don't know.
Will that be enough? We'll see.
I don't know. I don't like speedling all ends against Terran in general. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very rough. It's very rough to make work.
Will it though?
No.
Yeah. Again, Reynor's not doing anything weird though. At least not yet. Attached gas pool. In the link flood, remind me, did he go pool first?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, so yeah, so we're not seeing that, but yeah, it's gonna be hatch gas pool for now. We're gonna have to see whether Reynor pulls fully out of gas, whether he builds 50 lings, whether this game gets a little bit more normal. Does Byun pull out the fake 2-1-1? This is Marine first out of the barracks. It's not reactor first, but it is Marine first. Actually, yeah, with the Marine first, it's probably not going to be the fake 2-1-1 because you won't have enough Marine production to kind of mirror the two barracks setup quite quick enough, I don't think.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I'm going for the factory. I mean, so far, regular play has been working out pretty well for him. That previous game, right, you could say maybe if he doesn't lose his army to a couple of Baneling landmines, I still think that could have gone quite differently, perhaps. But, yeah. So, honestly, if he wants to take it back into that same situation, the same type of game, I wouldn't mind it at all. I think he has a pretty reasonable chance of taking the victory there. Same could be said for Reynor. I love the way he approached that game with the Ultralisk and just continuously burrowing those Banelings. Like, even though Byun knew that they were a threat, he just did it so consistently, so just endlessly, without remorse. Just small amounts of Banelings. Very well done there by Reynor. And eventually you're just gonna mess up, right? No matter how good you are. You're gonna walk somewhere where you're not supposed to.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job there. Really great job there from Reynor as the game went late. We saw some absolutely massive burrowed Banes. And then at the end of the game, you're like, well, I have like 30 Banes and you have Marauders, but I'm so far ahead that I can run my Banes into your Marauders and it's going to be fine. It's still going to be cost effective. It's like, those games where someone's playing like Lingbane Muta into mech and you're like, well, that's not going to be cost effective with all these Banes, but it's okay. I have 7 bases. We're going to make it work. Yeah.
It's an ST way, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's the crazy old man that did that back in the day.
That was actually the
meta. Made it
meta.
work as well. So
that was the meta against mech for quite a while until they nerfed Banelings most recently. But look at this. We got a medevac coming out here from Byun. So he's going to drop. I think this is the 5 Marine drop to pair. Yes. Or 7 Marine drop to pair with the Hellions as you move across the map. It's not Hellbats. But no, it's Hellion Banshee out of that. But you just put 7 Marines in a medevac. You're like, okay, this is going to be fine. I'm going to find some pressure on the map here. And it's weird. It's surprising. It's not something that you expect to see out of the Terran player, which is perhaps its strength. As we will see the medevac trying to find its way on into the main base, but it was scouted. So beyond understanding that Reynor is going to react appropriately, I'm going to drop on the low ground. I thought he was going to try to maybe bait around, move around to the left-hand side because he knows the army was going to be in the main, but no, this is just going to remove some creep. Okay.
Get what you can. Some Hellions. This is going to be ramping up quite quickly with the amount of pressure. Wondering if Byun is going to try to just have everything together here with the armory Hellbats, perhaps, or if he's still planning to have this be spread out. The Banshees definitely could come in as a blindside element of this.
Yeah, oh, interesting. I said, yeah, this was not going to be Hellbat push. This is going to be kind of Hellion Banshee with some Marines on the map, but no, it's a late... Oh, wait, do we have a Baneling Nest? I don't think we do, right?
I don't think so. I've not seen it, so...
There we go. Baneling Nest on the way now.
This could be big.
This is going to be a problem. We do not have Stim, of course, but there are a lot of Hellbats. There's Banshees here with this. Where are the Queens? They are around the 3rd. That much is true, but Hellbats are moving in now. There's no detection here for this Banshee. If we just see the Spore get targeted down, but no, the Queens are going to be there to defend. And as much as I'm saying, this is going to be a great thing. This is so cool from Byun. It's the delayed Hellbat that Reynor will never expect. Well, you know what? Queens, they're good units. And
yeah, they'll beat anything.
yeah. Byun's like, okay, I'm not going to do this. Whatever. Not going to work.
Yeah, I thought the Banshee Marine kind of mixed in with this, maybe enough DPS, but yeah, for what Reynor had, no, nope. Apparently no.
Yep. So now Stim's on the way. We got 1-1 here. Byun is still going to have faster upgrades despite the fact that he committed to other things as a third base. Everything now shaping up for Byun, but again, it's a little bit delayed. He committed to Hellbats and an early medevac. You would get the Marines, but he committed to that early medevac. All of these things that will delay things with gas. As the Banshee is finding a little bit more, or the paired Banshee will find a little bit more. 4 workers do go down, but I mean, I believe Reynor is on, yeah, he's not even on the 9 queens. He's on the 10 queen setup in this game because I heard queens are good units. They keep you safe. They keep you secret.
It's crazy. He's crazy like that. He'll do that. He'll go up to 12, 13 queen. No, I don't know if he does, but oh my dear lord, where did those banelings come from? He doesn't have burrow yet, does he?
Nope, just slow banes. Byun was paying attention. Oh, Lings are going to find their way on into this natural, and he said, hey, why did he flood Lings early? Well, because there's a gap in the wall. How many workers are going to see go down here? As all the Marines are dead, but the Widowmine is going to be split off as well. Great job there from Reynor.
I mean,
oh, the friendly fire too. Traitor mines.
Those Zerglings, man. They only killed Marines, but that is a good deal nonetheless. 3 SCVs as well, I suppose, right? Very fancy. Getting help and helping hand off a Widowmine as well, but that's what happens.
Yeah, I'm actually, I thought that was going to get a lot more than it did. And as it stood, like trading army for army and honestly not all that efficiently. Byun's pretty okay with that trade. 3 SCVs is really not all that significant. Now 1-1 is done. We're going to see Widowmines burrow up on top of all of these queens. Attempt to just knock something. But again, the energy of queens is the energy of queens. And that's not going to do too much here. Byun just kind of sitting on the edge of creep, trying to knock down some of it, but was not quite successful there. So we got another big run by coming in on the bottom side. Does Byun have the wall? Yeah, it's all open this time. Not even one spot. They're all open here. Byun's going to be forced to react. This time, once again, yeah, we're going to find a little bit more value because I think, yeah, Lings into the third base as well. 6, 7, 8 workers will be the iron price. And every time this happens, it just buys Reynor time. It buys him time to get into his 1-1. Buys him time to get in the Hydras. And maybe Hive, if that's what he wants to go for quickly, into Lurkers. All these things that are just so useful for a Zerg player in the mid game that will allow you to fight against the unfettered aggression of the Terran player. By the way, Byun, he's only on 1 tech lab. So his combat shields are done just now. In fact, Byun, he's trading just about evenly with Reynor at this point. This is not all that auspicious for our Terran player.
Yeah, I think if you're trading equally, that is just going to benefit the Zerg. Just way more exploding in his economy here. His base count is way up there, 5 versus 3. He's going up to his 6th base. He's adding in a macro. Oh wait, is that auto drone moving over to his 6th base? My bad. Might just be a little scout. Anyway. Yeah, like what? How much can you get really done here as Byun? He's denying some creep. But he's not really allowed to push anywhere else. Luckily for him, he does find these banelings and stops them from doing anything. So that's very good.
It's really crazy watching Terran players play this game. Not Terran players in general, but look at how Reynor has prevented Byun from moving onto creep, onto his portion of the map. Sometimes we see players, they find an opening, they're like, I'm going to stim on, and the creep's all gone. I'm pushing in. But Reynor has been positioning so well this game that you look at the armies kind of set up to move on into any creep position. You're like, how in the world would you ever consider doing that? It just doesn't make any sense. And Reynor, it's just the positioning of Reynor. The fact that he is so far ahead this game is Banelings try to roll on in, but they're going to get caught in a wall. They're going to get caught in a corner, and they will not succeed in their run by. Meanwhile, of course, Byun's getting pushed back here on the left-hand side. Reynor, I would not be surprised to see him just attempt to max out on this composition. I mean, yeah, he's going to have a 5 eventually. Whatever. It's going to be rather late in the... all things considered, but just max out on Lingbane Hydra, go for a Lingbane Hydra bust like we see players like a Laser do on occasion, and just say, look, I am far enough ahead at this point that I can go and I can break you with my mid-game tech and go from there. So now we have the Lingbane Hydras looking to move on in. Widowmine's not all that great, but we did see Byun trade a lot better in that engagement.
Yeah, not enough Zerglings anymore to kind of run forwards instead of those Widowmines. And Arena wants to... clearly have the battle as much on creep as possible. Byun gonna argue for the counter arguments of that debate where they'll fight.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, but right now they've kind of agreed to fight on the edge, and that doesn't really make either player too happy. Again, as you said, Zerg wants to be on, Terran wants to be off. But one thing we should point out here is we're like, wow, Byun's not in a great spot, but he does have his 4th base on the way. He's got his 3/3 upgrades on the way. And more importantly, his supply is starting to equalize with the Zerg. He's been down a lot of supply for quite a while. He's, been down like 200 to 150. But he's starting to max out as this defensive Widowmine is going to do a great job here, getting like 30 lings. And again, because Reynor did opt for the later Hive, this does buy Reynor or buy Byun a little bit more time while his army is going to, at least theoretically, be effective on the map. Now, once the lurkers pop out, once lurker range is done, that changes. But for right now, Byun does have a timing where his army is still theoretically effective here. His Ling's Veins is going to try to find their way on in. I'm kind of surprised we don't have more tanks because, again, this is Hydra Tech. The traditional calculus says, oh, yes, Bane or against Mutas, I go Widowmines. That's a big shot. And then against Hydras, I go tanks. And especially with the lurkers here as well. But yeah, Byun's still in the Widowmine tech, but now he's got a 20 army supply lead. He does have upgrade parity here. And if he can get another big Widowmine, well, that's going to be nice enough for him indeed to maybe start pushing onto the creep. But even still, he will be pushed back. Baneling's trying to filter on in once again. Once again, Byun on top of things, doing a really good job of making sure that he's okay.
That could have been so bad. That could have been so bad for Byun. Oh, just a little tense moment there. Baneling's almost running into the Marines' reinforcements. Byun's still holding on to this territory here with such vigor. The Hydralisk, not that many of them anymore. And again, not that many Marauders inside of this bowl of bio either. So those lurkers, oh my. A lot of them are being targeted down. Banelings will force this backwards though before the hatchery takes lethal damage.
Yeah, notice there the Widowmines, they knocked down the Overseers, and yes, we did see Reynor attempt to just drag the Widowmine shots onto the army, but he lost his Overseer, which meant that really it was kind of hard for him to take the fight anymore either. In fact, all these Widowmines are going to come off a cooldown. Beyond unburying them, maybe not the best idea, so he will lose a couple, but 3/3 is just about done. We got Ghost on the way from Byun, and yeah, he's got his 4th, and most importantly, he has his 4th in the direction of his rally. Which is always going to be nice for him. He's going to find all these queens. Be very careful here, Ben. You got to pick up, run away while the boost is still active because these queens they'll kill your medevacs rather quickly indeed. But what this does mean is Byun will be able to find his way on into this base. Of course, the Marauders they'll be able to find the left-hand side, maybe where they have the range, as the army of Reynor comes at least partially crashing in on the right side. Byun actually finding a decent trade here against the lurkers as well. The base is going to go down, but now Reynor, he's on the counterattack. It's a pseudo base trade here. Banelings trying to find their way on into the natural, on into the 3rd. 21, 22, 24, 30 SCVs will pay the iron price in this game. Yeah, Byun got a base. Reynor, he got a whole lot more.
He is definitely getting a whole lot more now. More than 50 supply overall ahead of his opponents. He is just getting his little Zerglings and every nuke, every Krampus that is exposed in Byun's overall infrastructure here. Now the queens are marching across as well. That is a troubling sign for the Terran player here. Reynor smelling blood in the water.
That he is. And just as we were saying, hey, look, Byun's got 4 ghosts on the way at a time. He's got 4 bases. He's doing well. Suddenly Reynor goes in, annihilates the entire economy of Byun. And suddenly things don't look all that great. And GG, Reynor will find his way out of this group. 2-1 in the final match. Byun's knocked down. You can see Reynor incredibly happy about that one.